My name's Jim McGuire. I am one of the police chaplains in the city of Beaverton for the Beaverton Police Department. And I've been doing this for almost 5 years. My role here at the Beaverton Police Department is 95% of what I do is for the officers. I'm responsible for the emotional and spiritual care for men and women who every day see things that God never intended them to see. And they have to do something with that. And helping them find their new normal, helping them find hope in the world that they live in that can be very hopeless is my responsibility. And I work 50 hours a week minimum, and I ride every day with a different officer, trying to help develop a relationship with them so that we can attend to issues before the wheels come off. And by becoming their friend and hanging out with them and going to calls and being a part of the calls, it really helps speed that relationship up. One of my first ride-alongs here, I rode with this gentleman who, when I got in the car with him, I always told the officers when I first got here what I knew, the weapons I knew how to use in case we got in a difficult situation, an ambush situation, and his life was in jeopardy and mine was in jeopardy. And I told him, I said, okay, I've been trained how to use these weapons. And he looked at me and he says, I don't want you grabbing the weapons. I want you to save my life. And I took that serious. I mean, I listened to it, but didn't pay much attention to it until about 3 years later. It was July 8th. I'll never forget that day, 2015. And we were in briefing and we got a call to a domestic violence call. And he and I got in the car and headed toward it. Didn't seem like a very serious call, but on the way over we were talking about where we were going to have coffee. And about 6:30 in the morning we arrived, and this situation blew up real quickly when finally, to all the officers that were there as surprise, a man fired a weapon outside and hit my partner, and he got hit in the head, and I looked at him as he went down and I was sure that he was dead. And I looked over, and this is the fella I promised to save his life, and I was pinned down and I couldn't get to him because there was gunfire going everywhere. And at that moment I asked God, please don't take him yet. And it was a very emotional time because of the relationships that I've developed with people like this officer. And because of that event, it provided me an opportunity to enter into relationships with a lot of guys that were there. And in a sense, kind of gave me the street cred that I needed to have a platform to help these men and women cope with what they see, because I was a part of it. I wasn't just sitting in an office somewhere sterile. And I count that as a blessing. That was a great event, horrible event. We've all had to learn a new normal from that, including myself. I had flashbacks of it. I had an effect of it. In fact, I would say that event changed who I was to some extent. Didn't change what I believe, but it changed who I was. But part of that process of figuring out the new normal came as a result of that event, and I did it with several other people as I helped them process it as well. And every time we hear a siren, I would challenge anyone, stop at that moment and pray for those people that are going to go see something that could change their lives forever or be a part of it, because they're going to have to figure out how to live with that the rest of their lives.